How did the British Empire really begin? Forget what you learned in school about fair trade and hard work. The truth is much dirtier. It was built on theft, not petty theft, but grand, state-sponsored piracy on a global scale. In the 16th and 17th centuries, the English crown literally hired pirates, gave them licenses to steal, and split the profits. We call them privateers, but let's be honest, they were pirates working for the state, looting Spanish ships filled with gold and silver, and shipping those stolen fortunes back to England. And that money didn't just line a few pockets. It bankrolled the rise of England from a weak island kingdom into the beginnings of the most powerful empire in modern history. To understand this, let's go back to the late 1500s. Spain and Portugal were the superpowers of the day. Their galleons sailed back from the Americas loaded with unimaginable wealth, mountains of silver from Potosi, gold from Mexico, and spices from the east. The Spanish crown controlled a river of treasure that fueled its wars and expanded its empire. Meanwhile, England was a second-rate power, poor, underdeveloped, and constantly overshadowed by Spain. Queen Elizabeth I had no colonies, no vast army, and not enough money to fight Spain head-on. So, she turned to a different weapon. If England couldn't outproduce Spain, it could steal from it. Elizabeth began issuing letters of marque, legal licenses that turned pirates into With one of these letters, a captain had royal permission to attack enemy ships, loot their cargo, and bring the treasure home. The crown took a cut, investors got their share, and the crew kept the rest. It was piracy, with a flag of legitimacy. Theft turned into official state policy. The most famous of these state-backed pirates was Francis Drake. History books paint him as a heroic explorer who circumnavigated the globe, but his voyage was essentially one long, carefully planned robbery. In 1577, Drake set out on a secret mission. Officially, he was exploring. In reality, he was hunting Spanish treasure, and he succeeded beyond anyone's wildest dreams. Off the coast of Peru, he captured a Spanish galleon nicknamed the Cacafugo. It was so loaded with treasure, 26 tons of silver, gold, and jewels that it took 6 days to unload. The hull was worth over $40 million in today's money, a return of 4,700% for his investors. One of those secret investors was Queen Elizabeth herself. Her share was large enough to pay off England's entire national debt. And to top it all off, she boarded Drake's ship and personally knighted him on deck. That's how piracy became patriotism. This wasn't just about ships. Drake and others launched raids on entire colonial cities. They sacked Santo Domingo, torched Cartagena, and burned St. Augustine in Florida to the ground. Spain called it terrorism. England called it strategy. And this model of state-sponsored plunder continued with figures like Henry Morgan, who sacked Panama City in 1671. He was arrested, but instead of being punished, he was knighted and made lieutenant governor of Jamaica. The message was clear. Bring home the treasure, and you'll be rewarded. This system was unique because it was organized, financed, and legitimized by the state. Nobles, merchants, and even the Queen invested in these voyages like a modern startup. The loot was divided like dividends. It was capitalism in its rawest form. High risk, high reward. Backed by violence, the plunder that flowed into England wasn't just treasure, it was capital. It fueled the economy, built the navy, and gave England the resources to expand. This financial model of theft laid the groundwork for the British Empire. And here's the unsettling truth. This pattern never really went away. The tactics just evolved. Privateering turned into corporations like the East India Company, which used charters to conquer territory and monopolize trade. Today, when governments want deniability, they use private military contractors. When elites want wealth without accountability, they use shell companies and offshore tax havens. The tools change, but the logic remains the same. Use whatever means necessary to extract wealth. The British Empire didn't rise by playing fair. It rose by weaponizing money and power, turning pirates into national heroes. History teaches us that when systems need money, they'll always find a way to get it. And you're the one who pays the price. If this gave you a new perspective, hit that subscribe button. History has the answers, and I'll show you where to look.